Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, I'm going to be talking about the hardest strings, tennis strings, to string with. For those of you who've been doing this for a while, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you who thinking about stringing, probably want to stay away from these strings. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so shout out and a big thank you. My Morning Cup of Joe sponsor today is Jay Nadal. Thank you for my Morning Cup of Joe. Greatly appreciate it. If you want to sponsor my Hot Cup of Joe, Dark Roast Habit, and be my sponsor of the Coffee of the Day Network, buy me a coffee /tennis spin. Thank you in advance. All right, guys, so let's get going here. Now, the hardest strings to string, that you're gonna see a pattern going on here. So I just wanted to give you like a quick cheat sheet as to what I'm about to show you and why. You'll see kind of the same pattern. Now, I've done a video on the easiest strings to string, and I will link that below. Before I get going on the hardest strings, let me just dispel a myth for you guys. I know I talked about it in my easiest strings to string video, but just so you guys know, don't be scared. Don't be scared when it says rough. Like the RPM rough here, ALU rough here. When it's textured like these are, it's actually easy to glide onto the worst list of hardest strings to string. Now, I don't want to say that these are bad playing strings. I'm just saying that it's a semi-nightmare to string with these, especially if you have to do a ton of them, okay? One or two, not bad, but if you had to do 20 of these in a row, you're probably going to be hating life, and your fingers are going to be hating you for it. You'll probably get like a manicure just from these strings alone. Now, number one, explosive bite. It's not horrible, it's just not that easy. So it's a triangular string, so there are edges on it. The edges actually make it hard to pull through on the crosses. Now, main's a breeze on any of these. If you're doing a hybrid, pretty much a breeze. Except when you try to roll a multi that shreds over any of these. Because it will shred that string, like NXT, like XL, like anything that's shreddable, anything that, how do you say, falls apart? Anyways, okay, moving on. Black Widow. Black Widow is one of those strings that, you know, if you had to string a bunch of these, not easy. Not easy. It's kind of a woven poly, and it's edged, so it doesn't glide very easily, especially in the 16 gauge. In the 17 gauge is not horrible, but not ideal. String plays well, though. String plays well, but hard on your fingers. ALU, but spin. Edges on this. You can feel the defined edges on this string. It's hard on your fingers. It's actually sharp. It will, like when you're pulling on the crosses, if that thing hits the brakes on you, you will get cut because it's sharp. and it doesn't glide. It doesn't slide very easily. Okay. If you're doing this on a cross and you got a synthetic mane, you're going to cut that mane if you're not careful. Okay. So be careful. Ocho. So ocho stands for 8, obviously, and it looks like that. But unlike some of the other 8-sided strings, these edges are sharp. These edges are defined. They're not rounded off like some of the other strings that are similar to this. So this doesn't slide as easily. This is a little firmer too. So you got a firm, edged, defined poly, which basically says, yeah, it's not going to slide very well when you're doing a full bed of this. Okay. So be careful if you're doing this on a cross. Hopefully no one's doing this on a cross with a gut mane or a synthetic mane, because you are going to carve through that if you're not careful. Okay. 17 will be a little easier than 16. Full bed of 16 will be definitely hard. Now moving into this RPM spin power, this stuff that's kind of on the brown side. It's a monofilament, soft poly, but for some reason, the coating makes it hard to string. It doesn't glide over each other. Plus it kinks too easily. So when you're down halfway down that cross, it's like not wanting to glide over each other anymore. So it makes it tough. All right, last one on the poly side. Big hitter, silver 7. So 7 means there's 7 edges. That extra edge, because it's an odd number, makes it sharp. So sharp, defined edges, harder to slide. Great tension maintenance though on this string, but not easy to string. Okay, if you want spin, hey, great. Tension maintenance, great. Stringing, low on the harder side. Okay. Now, let's move into synthetics here. I know you guys are going to be like, yeah, really? That's hard? Well, maybe to me, I'm just sensitive that way though. Let's start with Excel. It's got that slick coating on it that just, it's hard for me to grab. And then when I'm doing the crosses, sometimes it kind of kinks. It makes a little circle. So right at that other side of the racket, while I'm kind of, doing this, pulling it through, like it kinks on the end and it hits the brakes on me, and then I'm like that, and then I burn my hand. Okay, so that's why I don't like it, because it does that a lot. Therefore, not a fan. Kinking, right? Shredding. It just kind of shreds when I string it. I don't understand sometimes how the coating could be so thin. And then it starts to kind of puff up. The strings, after I knock out that layer, it starts to puff up. I don't know, maybe make a thicker coat for me so I can like it a little more. I have the same problem as the Excel in that when I'm pulling, it just like kinks and I go, ugh, and I burn my hand going like that. So you guys like your hand burnt? Yeah, I didn't think so. But if you know what I'm talking about, okay? If you know what I'm talking about, let me know. All right? And finally, yeah, I know, another Wilson, Sensation. I'm not sure what it's coated with, but like the first 3 crosses kind of sound like piano wire. It's like, yeah, like violin. Yeah. So there's kind of a friction that's on this string. After the first 3 or 4 crosses, it gets a little easier, but it just doesn't slide smoothly or quietly. Don't get me wrong. This used to be my go-to string for everything 20 years ago, so they jacked it up. But yeah, not a fan, really not a fan. You guys know that. Okay. So these are my top hardest strings to string. If you play with these and you string with these, you know what I'm talking about. And your fingers definitely know what I'm talking about. You want to suffer? but you love the strings, go for it. All right? Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Coach Good, check this out. Swing Vision got new commercial out.
Oh.
Check out his James Blake and Roddick. Oh my God. He's still playing?
I mean, he's still playing.
Whoa. Whoa. What? Dude.
That's damn fast.
I can do it. I can do it, dude. Back in the day, I could do that. I could totally do that, dude. You can do that. You can do that. Let's go, man. We can show them how it's done. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
85 miles per hour.
That can't be right.
No, that's definitely right. Man.
88 miles per hour.
That's not a gigawatt.
One more. Watch me.
78 miles per hour.
Hey, man.
Something wrong with this program.
Nah, that's just you, bro.
You try.
Fine,
Let's
okay,
see what
I'll do it. I'll do it.
You're going to go 69 right here.
127 miles per hour.
You can check out your serve speed on Swing Vision 2.
Doc, we got an issue.